Hey, what's going on, guys? Brian from Zombie Guitar here. Here in this video, I want to give you a guide, an improvisational guide that I think will be very beneficial to both beginner level guitar players and intermediate level guitar players, that will give you some fundamental understandings about just essentially how to apply basic, simple music theory to to the guitar. Now, this guide is it's a free mini course that I designed. The reason I'm not posting the whole course here on YouTube is because it's actually 38 videos long. I posted a link to it below in the description. It's free, you don't need to give me your email address or anything. There's no information of yours required. It's just a page on my website, but there's 38 videos in there, so I can't upload all 38 of those videos and expect you to stick around on YouTube and watch all 38, because the whole thing about YouTube is you tend to get sidetracked. So I kind of want you to check out my course and kind of have all your focus on it, okay? So it's 38 videos long, and the way that the course works is it essentially takes two primary elements, okay? Number one is backing tracks. So in order to improvise, you need a rhythm, okay? So you either need a band to be jamming with, or you need a looper pedal, or you need to use backing tracks, which is what I'm doing in this course, or you need a friend of yours to sit there and play rhythm guitar for you while you play the lead, okay? So that's the first element. You need backing tracks. The second element is you need just a scale or framework of notes for which to improvise in, okay? So the whole point is these video backing tracks, they show you fretboard diagrams on the screen showing you exactly which notes are going to work, okay? So let me just explain how these two concepts work. So right here, what you see, this is a scale or framework. This is your A minor pentatonic scale, very, very basic scale. You've probably seen this before, okay? So this alone, it doesn't really sound very musical. Okay, that's your scalar framework. So you take that scalar framework and now you're going to apply it to a backing track, which is in the key of A minor, because it's the A minor pentatonic scale. Now I have that stored in my looper pedal, and now it actually starts to sound musical. So let's hear how that sounds like. Okay, so I was just walking up and down the scale, but now there's a backing track to it. So the whole purpose of this 38 video mini course is to get you to put those two concepts together, okay? You have your backing tracks and you have your scalar frameworks to which to work in. Now, it's broken down into 5 modules. The first module is the Minor Pentatonic Scale and the Major Pentatonic Scale. The second module is adding the blue note to the pentatonic scale. The third module is the full diatonic scale. Okay, so those are like the extra melodic notes that you can add to the pentatonic scale. The fourth module is combining everything from modules 1 through 3 together. So combining the pentatonic scale with the diatonic scale with the blues scale, and seeing that you can use all 3 of those scalar frameworks over an entire chord progression. And then the 5th part is chord tone targeting, okay? So that's where you're actually targeting the chord tones within the scalar framework as the chord changes occur. Alright, so you can go ahead and you can watch the screen capture video, which is going to be coming in a minute in this video, or you can just go ahead and check it out yourself. So basically, what's the catch? Obviously, there is a catch. This mini course is just a portion of my full lead guitar improv course, and I just want to give you this is just like a little excerpt of how the full thing is going to work. So the free mini course costs you nothing, requires no information from you whatsoever. If you do like this and you find that you want to, purchase my full course, well, this gives you an idea of how the overall lead guitar improv course works, okay? So that's the catch. I'm being straight up with you. So, with that said, check out the screen capture video, or just click the link and check out the mini course below. And as always, let me know what you think. All right, so thanks for checking this out. All right, guys, so here's a quick overview of how this mini course works. So, this will apply to both beginners and intermediates, okay? Everyone's going to be at a different level, so, you can kind of just work through this at your own pace or work through this wherever you feel you want to. But if you're a complete beginner, I do recommend that you work on it in order, okay? So beginners, they might not understand some basic concepts such as the fact that one scale will work over an entire chord progression so long as that chord progression is in just one key, or how to move a scale so the same exact scale pattern will look, and everything will be the same about the scale pattern, except it'll just take place on a different part of the fretboard depending on what key you're in, okay? And then you have some more intermediate concepts such as, the relative major minor concept, how to combine the pentatonic, blues, and diatonic scales together, and then targeting chord tones within the scale patterns, okay? So this is, it's a mini course that ranges from beginner to intermediate levels. All right, so let's take a look at how this all works. So Module 1 is the only module that has 4 lessons in it, okay? Every one of the modules contains 3 minor key backing tracks and 3 major key backing tracks, but this one contains 4 lessons, okay? So this will explain all the necessary information that you need to know. Module 2, 3, 4, and 5, they just have 1 lesson, and then the 6 backing tracks, okay? So let me just show you. I'm not going to go through the lessons. The lessons are just like my YouTube videos, lessons, basically explaining anything that pertains to this course. But let me just show you how this works. So before I actually open this up, these are major minor pairs, okay? So A minor and C major are a relative major minor pair. E minor and G major are a relative major minor pair. C sharp minor and E major are a relative major minor pair. Relative major minor pair means that they are the same key, just the sadder version or the bluesier version if they're the minor key, or the happier version if they're the major key, okay? I know that's kind of a a cheesy way to explain it, but that's really the best way to describe it. Major keys sound happy, minor keys sound sad or bluesy, okay? So let me just start out by showing you just the most basic A minor pentatonic, okay? So the exercise is an A minor. That's the key, okay? This is your 120 beats per minute. This is your progression, 6-5-4 progression in the key of A minor. Use the A minor pentatonic scale over the entire progression. Okay, so these are your rhythm chords, and this is your scalar framework as the lead guitar player that you're supposed to be playing. So any of the notes within the scalar framework are going to work over any of the chords. The white dot simply indicates the scale root. So this is the key of A minor. This is the A minor pentatonic scale. The white dot indicates the note A. Okay, and then the rest of the dots are just simply the other notes of the A minor pentatonic scale. Okay, this up here is the same exact thing. This is just 1 octave higher. Again, the white dots are your notes A, and these are your notes of your A minor pentatonic scale. So you can play down here in the lower octave, or you can play up here in the higher octave. Any of the notes are going to work over any of the chords. That's the concept of the one scale working over any of the chords. Okay, so you can then come and do the same thing, just do it in a different key. You can try it in E minor. Let's hear how E minor sounds. Now your key E minor, the progression is the same, the tempo is the same. Okay, so it's the same thing, it just sounds different because it's a different key. You're now in the key of E minor. Okay, because you're in a different key, your scale pattern's moved. Okay, so the white dots now indicate the note E because you're in the key of E minor. Therefore, your note E is your scale root. So you can play it down here in the open position. These dots right here represent the open strings. Or you can come up here and play an octave higher around the 12th to 15th fret area. And that's your E minor pentatonic scale. All of the notes are going to work over all of these chords because all of these chords take place in the key of E minor. All right. And then you can come and, since we just did E, let's do the relative major of E. We'll come to G major and hear how that sounds. Now you're in the key of G major. The progression is now a 1-5-4 progression instead of a 6-5-4 progression. G major pentatonic scale instead of minor. Okay, see how it has a happier sound to it now? So this is your G major pentatonic scale. The red dots indicate your scale root G. Notice that the notes are exactly the same as that of the E minor pentatonic scale. The only difference is that the scale roots are now located in different spots within the same patterns. So G major and E minor are a relative major-minor pair, therefore they share the same notes. They share the same exact patterns as one another. The only difference is that your scale root is now located in a different spot within the patterns, okay? So that's the relative major-minor concept that I want you to understand by doing this mini course, okay? And also the fact that major sounds happier and minor sounds bluesier, all right? So then you move on, module 2, 3, and 4. 2, you're just essentially adding a new note to your scale, known as the blue note. You're still picking a key, the progression is the same, the tempo is the same, it's still going to be the same chord progression. Okay, the chords are still the same. Now you're just adding in this extra note to your pentatonic scale framework, and that is known as the blue note. And when you add that blue note, it becomes what is known as the blues scale. So the blue note shouldn't really be landed on. It should be more used as a passing tone. Okay, so you don't really want to hold out on that note too long. You can hold out on these other notes. They're more stable sounding notes. But when you play the blue note, you kind of want to use it to walk from one note to the next. So you may want to go here, here, and then maybe land here. Okay, and as you're improvising using these scalar frameworks, you're going to figure that out for yourself. Okay, so that's just going to show you that you can use this other scale over the same progression. Again, you can do that in any of the different keys. Okay, then you come and you do the diatonic scale. The diatonic scale is you're essentially just adding more notes to your pentatonic scale to create the full minor scale, or the full natural minor scale, otherwise known as the full diatonic scale within a minor key. Use the E minor scale. Okay, so you still have your pentatonic shell, but now you're just adding in those extra notes to create your E minor scale, or the E natural minor scale, it's also called. Okay, so when you go and you add in those extra notes and you play all of this stuff together, it's going to start to sound more melodic. Okay, so the full diatonic scale, or when it's in a minor key, known as the natural minor scale, it sounds more melodic than if you were to just play the pentatonic notes. Okay, so you can go ahead and try that out in all the different keys. And then you have module 4, which is where you can combine the first 3 modules together. So let's stick with E minor. Okay, same progression. So the yellow dots are your pentatonic notes of the E minor pentatonic scale. Okay, the big white dot still indicates your scale root
your scale root is E because this is the key of E minor. Okay, the blue note still indicates, or the blue dot still indicates the blue note from the blue scale, and then the other dots are the remaining notes of the E natural minor scale, okay, or the diatonic scale, whatever you want to call it. So you can combine pentatonic together along with the blues, along with the natural minor scale. Okay, you can combine all three of those scales together, and you can either sound pentatonic-y, you can sound bluesy, or you can sound melodic. Okay, so you just play along with it. You have 9 minutes to do so, and then you can start it over and keep on messing around with it. Okay, so just experiment with that. Do it in either minor keys or major keys. And then the last one is now you're targeting the chord tones within the scales. So let's stick with E minor again, since that's what we've been doing. Same progression. Okay, so notice how your overall scale doesn't change as the chords change, but what does change is the notes within the scale. Okay, so now you're targeting the chord tones within the scale pattern as the chords change. So right now the E minor chord is paused. That's the chord that's being played in the rhythm section. These green dots are the notes of the E minor chord. The E minor chord contains the notes E, G, and B. Therefore, these green dots are E's, G's, and B's. You don't necessarily need to know that, the actual note names, because everything on the guitar is movable shapes and patterns. But just for the sake of completion of this video, that green dot is the note E. That's your note G. That's your note B. E, G, B, E, G. And then the rest of the dots are the remaining scale notes of the E minor scale. Okay, so the chord tones are always going to be the best sounding notes within the scale. The scale notes just should be used to walk from one chord tone to the next chord tone as the chord changes occur. Okay, so then when you get to so now you're on the D major chord. So these green dots are the notes of the D major chord. Note that the white dot is still present. The white dot still indicates your scale root, which is E, because this is the key of E minor, but it's not lit up green because the note E is not contained within the D major chord. The D major chord contains the notes D, F sharp, and A. So these green dots are all D's, F sharps, and A's. That's D, that's F sharp, that's A, that's D, that's F sharp, that's A, that's F sharp. So the white dot, the scale root, just because it's a scale root does not mean it's an actual chord tone of the other underlying chord. Okay, so at that point it becomes just another scale tone, just like the black dots. Okay, so that's how that works. So if you want to slow down these arpeggio exercises, you can always come to this gear icon right here and change your speed. You can change it to half speed if you want. You can also speed it up, but I don't think you're going to do that. But just in case you want to slow these things down. So that's the whole idea of chord tone arpeggio practice. Okay, so you're going to come to find that the green dots or the chord tones are the best sounding notes within the scale because it's directly related to the underlying chords within the progression. All right, so that's that. Okay, I think the intermediates are going to find the most benefit from Module 5 and maybe even Module 4. Okay, but play around with it. If you have any questions, feel free to use the contact form right here. And while you're here, you might as well check out the rest of my site. I have lots of cool stuff. I have lots of free lessons. I have like 150 lessons or something like that for free. I have an ebook, and then I have my improv course. My improv course contains several pages, solo analysis page, video library, over 1,000 fretboard diagrams. My ebook is also part of my improv course. Okay, so if you like this free mini course and you decide you want to go ahead and check out the full improv course, that would be cool. Check it out. If not, or if you have any questions, just feel free to contact me, and thanks for watching. See you later.